Good evening once again, book lovers of the internet. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. I am Book Nerd 802, and in this video, I am going to be reviewing this book called 11 Minutes by Paulo Coelho. Now, I borrowed this one from my father's collection. I will be returning it once I am done with this video. This one consists of about 275 pages, and I rated it a 4 out of 5 stars. So, yeah, I mean, I read The Alchemist by the same author, Paulo Coelho, a Brazilian author, by the way, a couple of years ago, and did not much enjoy how it ended, although I enjoyed the writing style and the way the story was narrated. This one is, in my opinion, better, but I am perhaps only saying so because I am older and can better understand the themes which Coelho often brings up, and the themes in this one are definitely more mature than the ones in um, The Alchemist. So yeah, I will be delving into such themes later on in the video as well. I will just let you know how I felt whilst reading it, what went on basically, just my thoughts on his points as well. So this one, um, I basically finished in one sitting and was rather hooked since I don't often come across such a theme in books. I usually read books with which have to do with fantasy, dystopian, or science fiction. This one had much to do with realistic elements, almost could be regarded as non-fiction rather than fiction, and it was published during the year I was born, 2003, and sex was much more of a taboo subject back then, so this one can be labeled as rather progressive for its time. Now, I do believe that sometimes it is important to get to know the author and the context, the time they are writing in to better understand the story. That I kind of believe in, not always, but in this case, it was important to see which point Coelho was writing from, perhaps. And yes, I would label it as rather progressive for the time. We're talking 22 years ago now. So you'd probably need quite an open minded reader to enjoy this back in the day and to speak about it openly. But nowadays, I reckon it's more easy to appreciate the story without the worries of feeling humiliated and perhaps dirty upon finishing the whole book. It's basically about a girl called Maria who spends a year working as a prostitute in Switzerland after being spotted in Rio, in Brazil, where she's from. And this novel deals with the task of differentiating between sex and love, as well as the body and the soul. And honestly, I would say that it goes about doing so in quite a gentle manner and quite a thought provoking way as well, not in a rage baiting sort of way. As I mentioned, rather gentle, and such themes are dealt with in a way that do consider Maria's age and the people she hangs out with and what she does with her life, basically. And it strives to remove the stigma around how sex workers are perceived, since at the end of the day, they are humans still, just attempting to exchange their time for money in order to live better lives and provide for their families. So, just to be clear here, this is not me attempting to justify why I have an OnlyFans account, so don't go straight to the comment section asking questions about it, by the way, or asking for the link. That is not something I will reply to. So, Maria also tries to understand how pain and pleasure are intertwined and how pain often brings about pleasure, in addition to how pleasure is usually difficult to achieve without pain or sacrifice. Doesn't necessarily have to be sexual. It's more of a broad topic, more of a general sort of theme. And it also reminded me of that one Rick and Morty episode, if you know, you know. Coelho also delved into the topic of masochism and sadism, which made this read that much more weird. And that is why I read, basically. I do love weird concepts and the way the mind works differently for everybody, but from Maria's perspective, it's rather eye opening and thought provoking for the reader. And apart from Coelho explaining how Maria goes about her life, he also writes in segments, in little bits, towards the ends of his chapters, usually her diary, which is a book she will perhaps attempt to publish eventually, and she plans on calling it 11 Minutes as well. In a way, this can be perceived as a book within a book, much like many others I've read. This novel was based on several conversations the author had with many workers of this kind, and plenty of research undoubtedly went into writing it. especially since different countries would have different laws with regard to the trade of prostitution. And in fact, there are several facts brought up about Greek traditions, for instance, and other countries too, and how it works in different countries. Not in too much detail, but Maria is taught the history um, of her trade. I don't quite understand how Maria couldn't have just convinced Ralph Hart to go and live with her on the farm she was planning on buying, or just live with her in general, since they both had enough money and plenty of freedom, not only of the financial sort, especially considering how they loved each other so much. Basically, Ralph Hart is the guy she ultimately ends up falling in love with, and he is a very successful artist. She made plenty of money through prostitution during her year in Switzerland, so this was a very easy fix. I don't understand why they couldn't just sort it out um, straight away. I really enjoyed, by the way, when it is brought up that Zeus thought that humans or mortals were overpowered and decided to split them in two in order to have them seek out their other half. Um, because Zeus thought that mortals. They were originally two beings fused into one, basically, four legs, two heads, two sets of genitals as well. They didn't rely on anybody to procreate. They could move for long periods of time without tiring because of how many legs they had. It was fantastic, honestly, the work that humans did when they were fused together. And then basically, Zeus split them apart, and Shakespeare comes into this and then tells us to create the beast with two backs, of course, metaphorically. Um, and yeah, that is basically what Zeus condemned the mortals to do. Very interesting stuff. I also kind of knew about that already, but it was fun to see it um, be brought up again in a different sort of context. I also loved how the Camino de Santiago was mentioned, since I participated in that with my uncle about 2 years ago now. And I plan on reading The Pilgrimage by the same author next, since I have a feeling it will be relatable on several levels. And even though I might not have enjoyed the conclusion to The Alchemist so much, I do now consider myself to be a fan of Paulo Coelho's. Definitely, one of you recommended him during one of my streams. I was a bit skeptical to pick up his work again, but now I am not disappointed to have done so. I will definitely give him more of a go within the next couple of months, of course. Do tell me what I should read next by the author in the comment section down below. That is all I have to say about 11 Minutes by Paulo Coelho. And if you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like, comment, share, subscribe. Take a look at the rest of my content because why not? It's absolutely amazing. And I'll see you in the next one, hopefully very, very soon. Thank you for watching, and bye, guys.